But let's do it. Get into the feature presentation. We talked about it at the top of the show. We're talking 90s movies today. We've already covered Titanic. We've covered a ton of guilty pleasures and a bunch of randos, and then some major movies over the course of our yearly film series of the 90s. I mean, we talked about movies like Jurassic Park. We talked about
T2, Terminator 2.
Yeah, T2, Shawshank Redemption. We covered a lot of big ones. So if we don't cover it today, it's because we've already covered it most likely. You can go back to an old episode and watch it. If there's a particular movie that you don't hear today that you want to know when we talked about it or anything like that, shoot us a comment. Anything like that, or if we never even covered it at all, let us know, and we'll talk about it on a bonus segment on next week's episode or something like that. Because we're going to be continuing our yearly film series starting next week. We're going to be starting in the 2000s, but if there's something that we didn't get a chance to cover that you'd like us to, by all means, we'll be happy to. Consider it like a book club or something, because that's something that we're talking about potentially starting in the weeks to come. But as for the 90s, we'll talk franchises, comedies, and some other memorable films. We'll start with franchises. We're not going to get too in depth with everything. We got a lot to talk about. But when we have some anecdotes and things like that, we will most certainly get into it. All right, gents. Let's get to the top of the decade or the bottom of the decade. Is it going to be the top or the bottom of the decade if I start with 1990? Is that the top?
Yeah, I've noticed. Whatever.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you can choose.
You just got to own it, and then
starting at the top of the decade, 1990. Something that we all loved when we were kids. I'm sure all of us had an insane amount of action figures. Likely anyone else that was a boy in the 90s had a ton as well. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah,
and the bus.
This was, yeah. You gotta have the bus. You gotta have the fucking compound that Shredder was at and everything. Bebop, Rocksteady, the whole gang. But yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, probably the first trilogy we have all seen. If I had to guess, considering that the first one came out in 1990 and the third came out in 1993. So, but in 1993, what were we, 6 and 7 years old? Something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was our first taste at a film trilogy. An interesting one in the fact that it starts out a lot darker than it ends.
Yeah.
Typically with trilogies, you start a little lighter, and the middle chapter is the darkest one, and then it gets back to the light with the third one. Starts at darkest, then gets the lightest, and then it's somewhere in the middle with the third one, which is interesting.
One somewhere in the middle, because I always thought the third one was just like moronic and goofy.
It's definitely goofy. It's definitely moronic and goofy, like the second one. Maybe they're about even. Because 2 does have some kind of dark stuff in the end, like
the ending is
after the Vanilla Ice scene, when they're having their big fight outside.
Super Shredder, that's
Super
horrifying.
Yeah, and then they collapse an entire pier on top of them.
Yeah.
Both those movies end with like a gross murder of Shredder. The first one is just Casey Jones walks over to the garbage truck and just casually commits murder and just goes, oops.
That's true.
His lawyer is probably like, Your Honor, he said oops.
So
I rest my case.
And he has a hockey mask and his hockey stick.
He's done a lot of good for the city. And he said, "Oops." He clearly cares that he did it. He's been rehabilitated.
But I mean, it wasn't murder or anything because
he didn't die.
You add a little ooze to him, and he's back to normal.
It's only attempted murder.
He actually becomes like a fucking steroid juice head. So,
yeah, the first one is incredibly dark, though. Just not even in terms of violence, just like theme.
Yeah, because I mean, the first one you could tell was more like the comics, and then they went all in like the cartoon. For the sequels.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
The third one
Doug,
was the one with the scepter, right? Where they go back.
Yeah,
in
no,
time and stuff.
I want to know Doug's thoughts on 3 because
Oh, yeah,
it
time travel.
is
Oh,
all about time
yeah,
travel.
that's true.
Both time travel where the turtles go into the past and people from the past go into the
Go
future.
into the future.
Hockey? Hockey. That's all I remember from that.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I like time. Obviously, I like time travel. I like even if it's by a staff or whatever. Like, sure, why not go to samurai times?
They
do
switch
samurai
places,
things.
Doug. That's pretty unique in time travel.
Yeah, and
it
it's
is.
It's kind of like Assassin's Creed because I mean they're going all the way back like to that time period. Actually, it's more like Ghost of Tsushima now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's more like Ghost.
Ghost doesn't have time travel.
Yeah, as far as we know, there's no time travel involved in that video game. But yeah, I mean, I want to know where we're putting the Turtles concert coming out of their shells. I mean, is that?
I don't know if I've seen that.
What?
I don't know if I've seen that film. What is it, like a 30-minute program?
It's like a concert, and the Turtles have like guitars, and they have like glitter bands, and they gotta
I think I've
seen them at Disney World like live, but I don't think I've ever. I don't know if I've ever seen this movie that you're speaking of.
Is it?
Yeah, I have their autographs as well.
They gotta win. They gotta save April through like the power of music.
Makes sense.
Is this canon?
I think it's at like radio. I think they're at like Radio City or something.
This sounds familiar.
And there's like a full on. You got to pull up the picture. I mean, just like Google Turtles coming out of their shell. It's worth the laugh just to kind of like see the get up that they throw them in. I don't know why we had this movie on. It's not really a movie. It's like a concert, but we had it on VHS, and it's just like these.
Oh my god, that's
people these people in turtle suits that are lip syncing and not actually playing music, putting on a concert.
It sounds
stuff of
special.
Nightmares.
Yeah, it's but it existed. It came out in the 90s. I think it was 1990.
Okay. All right.
And it was a thing. But I think most importantly, if we're going to talk Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, my favorite turtle is Michelangelo. Yes. Everyone had a favorite turtle.
Yes.
I like the guy that likes to party. Murph likes the guy that hates everybody.
I'm fucking temper.
Has temper issues.
Michelangelo's the best.
Nah, I'm a Donatello guy. Live and breathe Donatello all day.
Bo Staff.
Yeah.
Builds a lot of the gadgets, including that vehicle that we talked about.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Doug, you said you were Michelangelo, Doug?
Yeah, Michelangelo just wants to have a good time. He likes pizza.
Pretty funny that none of us have Leonardo, and he's like clearly the leader.
Yeah, he's just some dumb
He's
Chad.
uptight. He's so uptight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's very much the most serious samurai. The rest of them are unique in their own ways.
For everyone watching on Twitch, here's the nightmarish turtles.
Yeah, let them have it.
That's fucking terrifying.
And then just a quick mention. I mean, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles spawned a bunch of imitators. We had the Three Ninjas franchise after this.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of those movies.
I love Three Ninjas. I still like those movies. They're ridiculous.
I definitely dug the first one. It was like Home Alone crossed with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That was
minus the mutant Teenage Turtles.
I'm trying to think. I think it was the third one with Hulk Hogan, High Noon at Mega Mountain. I think that's what it was called.
That's the fourth one.
Fourth one? Okay. Well, I remember seeing that one in theaters, I think.
The naming of those movies drive me nuts because there's three ninjas kick back, three ninjas knuckle up, and then three ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain. Is that the correct order?
Yes. Good job.
Yo, that's the first time in my life I've ever gotten those correct. They all feel like the exact same movie too.
Yeah, I only saw the first two. I saw both of them in theaters.
Yeah, I think I did as well.
And another franchise that started in the early 90s, which definitely was not supposed to be a franchise, but just due to the popularity of this adaptation, it ended up becoming one, mostly in the 2000s. And it is Hannibal Lecter and Silence of the Lambs.
It's
So
a
it wasn't.
goddamn TV show now too.
It has been multiple TV shows. It had in the 80s Red Dragon with Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter, spelled differently for some reason. Lecter spelled with a K instead of C.
Wait, really?
Yeah. It is a very 80s movie. It's got the dude from CSI as the Edward Norton role from Red Dragon. So it's called Manhunter. Check it out.
Yeah, I never seen it.
It's from the director of Heat, Collateral, Michael Mann. But then 1991, when they put out Silence of the Lambs, that's when they hit like their fucking grand slam with Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter and Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling. Anthony Hopkins is only in the movie for like 15 minutes and just scene stealer all the way. You think he's in the entire thing. I mean, he won Best Actor at the Academy Award when he really is just a supporting actor. It won basically every important Academy Award. It's one of only a few movies to win picture, actor, director, actress, and screenplay. So, I mean, it was a phenomenon. And eventually turned into a franchise. I mean, we got Hannibal from Ridley Scott. We got Red Dragon, a remake of Manhunter, but with Anthony Hopkins in the role of Hannibal Lecter. So, Corey, I know you're a big Silence of the Lambs fan. We've watched that a bunch of times back when we were younger and getting into horror movies and things like that. Mm-hmm. But another horror franchise, we've definitely mentioned this one before because the 5th entry is coming out next year. Scream. 5th entry is also named Scream, so that's going to be confusing.
No. No.
Yeah.
Why can't it just be The Scream?
I know. They're exactly go the Batman route. Yeah, they're going the Halloween route, and they're naming their sequel, which is not even a direct sequel to the first one, but a sequel to the first 4 movies, and it is called Scream. Just a way to juice the grosses by making it sound like it's an original. But
what letter looks like a 5? Is it? No. Well, maybe an R kind of looks like a 5.
No.
Maybe an E. Maybe an A. Oh, a 5 backwards A. No, a 5 backwards could be a lowercase a. All right. God, I hate that.
Yeah, I mean, this
is confusing.
Especially the first one. Talk about like an introduction to horror movies for us, especially at that time when it came out. I know for me, this was probably the first one that I, legitimately saw. I don't think I was supposed to see it when I did. But,
same.
Yeah.
Probably all of us.
I saw it at your house, Murph.
Yeah,
I'm sleepover, and I was
sure.
trying to watch it.
A birthday party.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's where I saw it too.
Yeah. Definitely shouldn't have been watching it when we were under 10 years old, but it was a good introduction to horror movies because it is both serious and funny. So it's not scary. For the most part.
I don't know, man. Seeing the
other than the opening scene is a little chilling as a kid, but
especially
other
seeing
than that,
someone get disemboweled, at 9 years old.
Other than that, it's fairly tame. But yeah, I mean that one kind of reinvented slashers. Tons of movies followed in the late 90s. Two of the 4 so far came out in the 90s. And yeah, just had a major impact. That was a word of mouth type smash. And hopefully the 5th one with the same title as the first will be good. Rumor has I've heard that the script to it's pretty solid. I heard that it's better than the script to the new Halloween movie coming out later this year. So it'll be interesting to see both those come out. But moving on to a completely different type of franchise. We've got Kevin Smith's View Askew universe. This one is interesting in a bunch of ways. Like, we can kind of talk about how like indie movies became a big thing in the 90s. We'll get into Quentin Tarantino later. But like the dawn of Miramax and shit like that. indie movies became like the hot thing in Hollywood and winning all the awards and things like that. And we actually got our first universe. Kevin Smith even brought this up on Instagram or Twitter recently, that Marvel wasn't the first one to do a shared universe on film. It was fucking him and his Viewist universe. It was Clerks, Chasing Amy, Mallrats, Jane Silent Bob, Strike Back, and Dogma. Those 5 movies, they did it first. They brought all the characters together. Jane Silent Bob is like their Avengers, which I guess would make Jane Silent Bob reboot their Age of Ultron. And the franchise is still going. I mean, we're going to be getting Clerks 3. They're going to be filming that this year. He just finished the first draft this past week.
I saw that.
Yeah.
The new first draft, since he's already written this movie before, and now they're got a completely new one that they're doing. But we're going to be getting a Mallrats 2 as well, Twilight of the Mallrats. Yeah, Twilight of the Mallrats. That'll be after Clerks 3, and then I think that's kind of the end of this whole thing again.
Are there even malls anymore? Do people go to malls?
I guess it's going to be like a dying mall.
I'm assuming they're
going to hurt.
They kind of joked about it in the beginning of Reboot when they went to the comic book store. And that Jason Lee was the owner of. And he was his Mallrats character. But it's going to have to make fun of the fact that nobody goes to malls anymore, for the most part.
Man, this whole universe had us wait in line for 12 fucking hours in the heat in August to get a signature.
Yes, it did.
We were gonna have Kevin Smith call Corey and call him a goddamn liar too. It would have been so great.
And
that would have been so great.
He would have done it too if we got in earlier.
Apparently, he was hanging out with everyone.
Yeah, I don't know. Did we ever tell you that, Corey, that we were going to do that?
You did, yeah.
Oh, we were so hyped. We had it planned out. It was going to be amazing.
That probably had to survive like 3 or 4 hours of that heat and torture. Just talking about that alone.
Did you guys get food? While you were standing in line for 12 hours?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Someone left.
We would separate, like, and someone would go grab stuff. I remember getting somebody got ice cream.
I got ice cream.
We
got a picture of Kevin Smith's wife.
Yeah,
she was out there appeasing the poor moron.
Dude, fucking Harley Quinn was probably there as like a, what is she now? 20? Yeah. She's probably like a 5-year-old.
Probably. She's probably in air conditioning though.
Yeah, probably. That store actually closed this past week.
The new one's open, right?
Your secret stash, right?
Jane Silent Bob, secret stash in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Yeah, but that's another aspect of these movies that kind of has, is a little more special for us, because living in New Jersey, these movies take place in New Jersey. So that
we really have to stop at the Quick Stop sometime in the next year.
Yeah.
Like just do a drive by down there and I don't know, maybe we do like a bonus segment, like film it in front of the store or something.
Is that Monmouth? Or is that in some random
Red
fucking
Bank?
town?
No. I think it's in Red Bank.
It's in Leonardo, New Jersey, right?
It's not a real place. I'm pretty sure it's not a real place.
I'm looking.
Leonardo, New Jersey.
I was going to look it up.
I'm pretty sure Leonardo, New Jersey is not
a
real place.
It's a real place
really?
in Monmouth County.
Monmouth County.
Wow.
Okay.
I always thought that was made up.
And if you search it, Quick Stop's the picture on Google.
Oh my God.
Well,
I guess we got to go to Leonardo then.
And then go to the new stash.
Yeah.
No, I'm not waiting 12
Well,
hours.
we wouldn't have to wait in line to go in.
Yeah, you say that now until we get there, and then we have to wait 12 hours.
All right, and one other straight comedy series. I would kind of compare this to American Pie, or I just said the name. I would kind of compare it to Scream in regards to like R-rated comedies for our generation. Like we were introduced to Scream when it came to horror slasher films. When it came to R-rated comedies, American Pie was that series.
Way too young to watch these.
Yeah, shouldn't have been watching it in middle school. I mean, you can compare it to a lot of other R-rated comedies, and this movie actually is hard to it. And like
to the next step,
it's raunchy, and we got to the next step out of it.
It's
we cheers to that line still to this day.
Yeah.
I remember
Granted, we were
watching-
not cheering to anything when we originally saw this movie.
I remember watching
Unless
the
it was like a
unrated
Shirley Temple.
the unrated versions of the first movie when it came out on DVD, and I, without a doubt, shouldn't have like watched that either.
What was
Yeah,
different?
I mean,
The unrated one like had like more
I think they had
extended
like
scenes.
yeah, I mean, I don't think there's been a more pause scene in my life in a movie than Shannon Elizabeth
The masturbation
in American
scene.
Pie. Definitely no more than that. It was a groundbreaking moment in my teenage life.
Yeah.
And many others.
Yes, yeah, it was like the Porgies of its day.
Yeah.
And like Porgies would have been worse. That movie was just like that was way more inappropriate than American Pie.
That is true.
The '80s definitely had less heart than the '90s when it
Oh yeah.
came down to things like that. I mean, American Pie actually had a focus on its female characters, but yeah, some other comedy series. Two more, but not of the R-rated persuasion. Austin Powers and Rush Hour. What do we have to say about them?
I saw Austin Powers
Austin-
2 before Austin Powers 1. When I
Really?
went
Really?
with my brother to see Austin Powers 2 in theaters when we were in North Carolina, of all places. I don't think I
saw
was
2 in
allowed to see the
theaters.
first one.
I saw 2 in theaters.
Yeah, I did see the first one in theaters. 2 and 3 I did.
Dude,
First one I saw in rental.
Yeah.
I died when I saw the first one. I thought it was hilarious. I mean, it was just like
So
if you had
good.
seen like the Bond movies, it was just like so perfectly just rip those movies apart, but like lovingly.
Yeah.
My first exposure to Austin Powers was seeing the trailer for the first one before Liar, and I was like, "What the hell is this movie?" I didn't see
the trailer
it.
where it's like Mike Myers is playing.
It probably
so
is.
played by Mike Myers. Mike Myers. I was like, who the fuck is Mike Myers?
Yeah, like I didn't know who Mike Myers was at that time.
Wayne's World. How do you
But
not
yeah,
know?
this movie was just like
This world's trash, dude.
Stop.
it was such a damn smash on VHS. Like that, like its success on video is what made it have a sequel, and its sequel open to like
So ridiculous.
box office breaking records for like a
Yeah.
comedy. It was, you rarely see something like that anymore. The closest thing is like John Wick.
Yeah.
But
The second
like,
one's so good too.
Yeah.
oh yeah, so it was such a good breakout sequel.
Yeah, the quality between the first two movies is just outstanding, and then the third one's like,
Things got a little stale for the third one.
yeah,
It's still funny to joke about.
yeah. It's not bad. It's not like the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, which is saying something about the third movie in a comedy series. I think Austin Powers 3 is more watchable than like Shrek 3.
yes,
Would be like the
100
most comparable
100%.
thing to it, because
I don't
it's
think I've
just
ever
like
seen
Mike
Shrek
Myers
3.
gets annoying after a while.
Corey, you definitely did. We saw it in theaters, like
Saw it in theaters. It was
all of
fucking
us at
terrible.
like its opening night, like a bunch of fucking idiots back in the day.
I don't remember that.
Was
think
I-
we were
was
one
I
of, like,
there? I
7
don't-
you
people.
were probably there as well.
I probably
It
slept
was-
through it.
It was the summer of
I
2000.
don't remember it.
Probably slept through it.
It was definitely the four of us were definitely there.
I don't remember a
Um,
lot of people in that theater.
No, it
Yeah.
was not crowded at
It was
all.
like the 9:50 p.m. showing of Shrek
Yep.
3.
Yeah, on like a Thursday night. I remember we
Yeah.
watched The Office season finale and then we went over there.
Shrek 2 was fun.
Long time ago.
Yeah, Shrek 2 was great.
Yeah, Shark 2 is a solid sequel.
Wait, I watched
Not
The Office.
not in the
season finale?
90s though.
I think just JP and I watched it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't remember this at all.
But dude, I was reading this today on the internet. If they did Austin Powers now, he would have been frozen in time in 1991.
Wow.
How crazy is
Yeah,
that?
I guess it's
Yeah,
Fucking nuts.
That is
That's-
crazy.
Actually terrifying. A lot changed from like the 60s to
Yeah.
the 90s.
Yeah.
Not
The major
mu- I guess a lot's
just
changed, but not that
a-
much though.
innovations were just so much different back then. They were like
Yeah.
the innovations lately are like, does your phone fucking suck to your phone is awesome.
Yeah,
back
they're not
then,
life changing.
Exactly. Back the changes back then are just so much different. Now it's just like how big's your TV and what special features does it have, and
Yeah.
just different. It's the different type of changes. But yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, my God, that is just nuts.
This
Crazy
one,
to think about.
this franchise, I wonder if we'll ever get another one. Because I know there's been rumors forever.
We've talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Myers. I mean, apparently
I'm
he
sure you
wrote-
don't have to twist Mike Myers' arm for another one.
I remember.
he probably does
said
the voice in his house.
he said that he wrote like a draft of like a fourth movie how long last time ago. But I mean,
He's got
Yeah,
a
I mean,
room in his
I heard-
mansion
Waiting
filled
for
with
the right
papers
time.
that are just a draft
think
of Austin Powers 4.
I think at one point they said it would be like more focused on Dr. Evil.
should
Well,
be
they did
hilarious.
that with the last one, though. That's
yeah,
what
and
Goldmember
they fucked
is.
up with making them brothers.
Yeah,
It was
that
stupid.
was stupid.
And then fucking
he
Bond,
did it.
Bond did it. Oh
Dougie.
my God. So
Dougie.
embarrassing. Like, how do you not be like, wait a second, fucking Austin Powers did this.
Dougie.
Now we're gonna make Blofeld and Bond brothers? Like, come the fuck on. That was a mistake. Spectre was a mistake.
I still
Okay.
don't remember that movie.
I like Spectre, but yeah, that was not a good move, I think. But
Yeah. Rush Hour. One of the rare situations where I'd say the sequel to a comedy is better than the original.
yep. I remember seeing this movie down the shore.
Yeah, Rush Hour 2.
Yep.
JP's
That
thinking
means
on it.
that means
He's
at the
not sure.
beach for anyone that's not from New Jersey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Down the shore.
We would
beach, whatever.
an hour away from where you go on vacation.
I mean,
So
I don't know if the second one's better.
I think it is.
Yeah,
It's
I
got
think
Jeremy Piven in it.
It does.
I watched that the other day.
Rush Hour
Just
1
that
or
scene.
2?
No, 2. Just that scene with Jeremy Piven.
Yeah.
Let's put a dead animal on you. Crack skin, buttercream. What size is the waist? Let's go in.
That scene
Such a
alone
good
is
scene.
better than Rush Hour.
I feel like the plot of the second one was just so much better. Like it was more fun. The
action
was-
scenes were better.
Yeah.
Like Brett Ratner stepped it up in the action scene department. You can just tell it had a way bigger budget.
Yeah, I don't remember Rush Hour 1 that much. I don't remember Rush Hour 2 that much.
I don't
I
remember.
barely
Rush Hour
remember these
3.
movies.
Yeah. I was
Wasn't
just gonna
Roman
say-
Polanski in Rush Hour 3?
He
Yes,
was.
He was.
Yeah, I remember that part. And they punched him in the face, and I wish they really punched him in the face.
Jackie Chan should have fucking knocked him out and brought him back to
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. If only.
Jackie Chan, the savior.
He like carries him on his back.
He's like, all right. He goes, there is extradition now. Brings him back to the U.S.
Yeah. Bring him to Hong Kong, then bring him to the U.S.
But
Yeah.
a precursor, yeah, exactly. But a precursor to or precursor to Rush Hour in the buddy cop arena.
Oh, wait. Before.
Yeah,
You're forgetting the hot, what is Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights.
Oh my god.
No,
was
I'm not.
2000s. That was 2000s. Shit.
we will talk about it in 10 weeks.
Dude.
I might even
They
talk
feel
about
like
that
the
next week.
exact same movie.
I think I will put that as my movie for next week for 2000 because I love Shanghai Noon.
It's a good movie, though.
Exclusive.
Oh, it's so close.
Yeah, breaking news. I love Shanghai Noon.
Spoilers for next week.
But yeah, precursor to Rush Hour and in the buddy cop world, and kind of like a natural extension follow up to the Lethal Weapons of the 80s, Bad Boys. So a franchise that is inexplicably still running, and thanks to COVID, had the #1 movie of 2020 with Bad Boys for Life, the 3rd installment. But it was just the beginning of the complete and utter dominance of Will Smith for like the next decade to come. This one came out in 95. In 1996, we got Independence Day, 1997, Men in Black. All of them became franchises to a degree. I don't think any of us have seen Independence Day 2, have we?
No.
Nope.
I
I
don't think I'm good.
saw part of it on a plane and I was like, this movie sucks.
Is Will Smith in it?
No, he was smart enough not to be in it.
Yeah.
Okay, there you
Yeah.
go.
It's like Will Smith's son or something.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
fucking
it's the little
A-Train.
kid from the first one?
No, it's A-Train from
Is it
The
A-Train?
Boys. Yeah.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is he supposed to be the little kid from the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah,
Um,
fuck that movie.
Eventually, I will have to see it just because I imagine it's just
Do you know the plot at all or no? Do you know that they? Yeah, you've probably seen the trailer.
The
They like
aliens
take.
come
come
back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they like it's everything in the society's like super futurized because they took the alien technology and like upgraded like everything. So they all
Gotcha.
it's all like very futuristic,
Gotcha.
even
gotcha.
though like time has they're like in our present, but everything's like way cooler and futuristic.
That's
the
a
aliens
cool
are like,
idea.
we're taking it back.
And it just didn't work out though, which is a shame. Since Independence Day was like the Jurassic Park of the mid 2000s, absolutely massive for anyone that was around at the time. And then we had Men in Black, 4 installments so far, 3 with Will Smith.
One was good.
Yeah, 2 was bad, 3 was okay. Bad Boys is absolutely his best franchise.
Yeah.
They may actually get better every single time. Bad Boys 2 is like the most excessive sequel of all time. Is Michael Bay going full Bayham, going just crazy, outlandish, fucking his id just on the screen. But Bad Boys for Life was such a stellar sequel, with dealing with like getting older and stuff. I didn't expect it. I think some of you got Corey. We saw it in theaters together.
Yeah.
Shortly before fucking the world shut down. Doug, you saw it recently, right? I don't remember if you said you liked it or not.
That recently, I think we rented it. I'm not like a huge Bad Boys person, but
Fair.
I think it's because I like to me it's like Bay. It's still a little too much Bay for me.
Yeah, I get it.
Full Bay is the only way to go, honestly.
I just like
Gain's a fantastic movie too, and that's Full Bay.
Which one?
Pain and Gain.
Yeah, I like Pain and Gain though. I don't know. This just like I don't know. The characters never really hooked me. Like you got to really like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith's characters. I think to like this movie, like these movies, and like their like dynamics.
Based on
and
their,
they just like
their charm, charisma, their rapport with one another. If you don't believe it, if you don't enjoy the characters, you're not gonna like it, without a doubt.
Yeah, so I think that's my problem, and the bayness of it.
Fair. And then we mentioned Independence Day and Jurassic Park. For the late 90s, we had an attempt at a franchise. From the director of Independence Day, the writers of Independence Day, we had the first American Godzilla movie, and it failed spectacularly.
So bad.
I mean, the franchise was dormant for the next 16 years before they attempted it again. With fucking here. They still continue making their movies in Japan. But as far as Hollywood goes, fuck man, they whiffed.
So hard.
Yeah, I mean,
the only thing
there's glimmers of like good in it, but like the Madison Square Garden part was inspired. Hank Azaria is good, but otherwise,
good and everything.
It's fucking bad.
The only truly good thing to come out of that movie is that Puff Daddy song.
Yes, it had.
I remember like, the album more than like the movie.
It had like the soundtrack of all elementary school boys, in the late 90s.
Yeah,
everyone had it.
Mm-hmm. I don't buy music.
That had to have been like a huge success. That was like more successful, definitely way more successful in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, you had you have Puff Daddy, Wallflowers, you had Green Day, Rage Against the Machine. Like it was just a big like 90s rock soundtrack.
Yeah. Jimmy Page was in that. He came back for that version of the song with Puff Daddy, didn't he? If I remember correctly.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, the movie itself, man,
terrible.
Trash.
And oddly enough, I didn't actually know this until maybe an hour before we started filming. it didn't have 3 cast members or didn't have 2 cast members from The Simpsons. It had 3, which is weird.
Godzilla
Like,
was in The Simpsons?
Dan
no,
Castanella, is he in it?
no. It had Hank Azaria. It had Harry Shearer. He was like the like, remember there was that Siskel and Ebert type characters in the movie.
Oh God, yeah.
He
no,
was
kind
the,
of.
he was the Siskel one, and then it had Nancy Cartwright, who does Bart. She had like a small role in it as well.
That's
Wow.
What's the
strange.
Simpsons connection? Do we know?
I do not know. Maybe it was once one was cast, like once Hank Azaria was cast, he's like, all right, bring on fucking my boys and girls.
That's peak Simpsons, right?
Yeah, I mean, the movie came out in 1998, so
Yeah.
Simpsons was probably on like season 7 when they were filming. There was no bigger show in the 90s than, I mean, yeah, I guess you can say either Simpsons or Seinfeld. So yeah, but kind of weird.
Maybe Emmerich was just like a really big Simpsons fan.
Yeah, maybe he's like German. He's like, I just love Simpsons. And
He hates the world, so he
I
tries
love
to destroy it in every
disaster.
movie.
I love disasters and Simpsons.
These are two of my favorite things that I love.
Yeah, but then the last 2 franchises are continuations. They didn't start in the 90s, but they had kind of reboots before reboots were things. It had Pierce Brosnan becoming James Bond. So 1995, he did GoldenEye, did his 4 films. And then we had the Star Wars prequel trilogy, which there hadn't been a Star Wars film in 16 years. And it debuted, and people were upset.
I bought tickets so many times just to see Duel of the Fates. It's the only thing I watched.
Oh yeah,
that for.
I definitely saw this movie at least 3 times opening day. I went first showing, I went again in the afternoon. I definitely saw it at night for the premiere. I'm just trying to remember if I saw it again that day, but I definitely saw it at least 3 times.
I remember being so fucking pissed that you got tickets for opening day and you fucking brought Andrew Miklos instead of me. I was like,
Really?
that motherfucker. Because I think you worked with your brother at the bagel shop, which was definitely
Oh.
illegal because we were in 6th grade.
Yeah.
We were like 12 years old. So I don't know
You
what
looked
exactly
older.
happened there. But yeah, I was like pissed. I didn't see it until maybe like, I guess, Sunday when it opened. But then I saw the movie and I was like, okay, I guess it's not that bad that I didn't see it, because this movie was a disappointment.
Yeah, I think I still liked it because it had lightsabers in it. I saw it so many times, and I was in Texas, so our closest movie theater was a 15-minute drive, maybe. So my parents definitely fucking hated me because I was like, I want to see Star Wars. I want to see the Star Wars. I want to keep seeing the fucking Star Wars. And yeah, I went like 4 times in the opening weekend or something like that. It was ridiculous.
Did your
You know-
parents sit through it with you, or did they just like, all right,
Yeah,
have a
I
nice
think-
life, JP?
I think it was a combination of my parents and my brother. And one time they dropped me and a friend off. And then maybe one time I snuck out of the house and ran like for like 20 miles to the I think it was just a combination of friends and whoever the fuck I could get to go see the movie with me, just because I wanted to see Darth Maul fight Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon.
Yeah, and you were in Texas for this one too. You were back for the sequels, but you were down south for Phantom Menace. But
Yeah.
we saw fucking Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith so many times in theaters.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't think I saw Revenge of the Sith. I think I just saw it the one time with you guys on opening night, and I don't think I ever saw it again.
Really?
Oh yeah, Revenge
I
of the Sith was
fucking hated that.
Yeah, it was the
movie.
3
Revenge
of
of
us
the
and my
Sith was
brother.
different because like by that point we were like all had girlfriends and it was senior year of high school, so we weren't going like to see a movie every fucking
Yeah,
5 seconds.
I
I do think
didn't like it.
I'm pretty sure we saw Revenge of the Sith twice
Did we?
together. But yeah, or Attack of the Clones, we saw
Yeah, we
that
saw
a
so many
lot.
fucking times. We definitely snuck a sandwich into Attack of the Clones.
Dude,
at least
I can
twice.
still remember the Like Mike trailer, like just from seeing that trailer so many times that summer, from seeing it in Attack of the Clones. Dude,
Yikes.
I can probably still name every trailer we saw during Attack of the Clones because we saw it maybe 3 times opening weekend.
Do it right now. Let's go.
Minority Report, Like Mike, Signs, Road to Perdition, maybe.
Oh,
We got
God,
a
Road to
fact
Perdition.
check.
No, I can't. But I do know Like Mike and Minority Report was there every single time
I feel like you
because
basically got that right. Road to Perdition's the only one I'm
but
unsure
they're
about.
it opened the same summer, but maybe Men in Black too.
I wish there was a website that would tell you what trailers were attached to movies. I guess it's kind of an impossible
Yeah,
thing to
that would
figure
be
out.
that would
Did-
be an impossible thing
did-
to compile.
Did Rain on Fire open in the summer of 2002? Because if it did, I think we saw that as well.
Rain of Fire?
Rain
Like
of
with the-
Fire, the one with Matthew
The one with the
McConaughey.
Opened in
dragons.
2002.
Yeah, then I think that was one of them.
Is that the one with Sean Connery as the dragon?
It was a Fox action movie in the summer of 2002. We
Yeah,
definitely saw it.
July 12th, 2002.
Yeah, we definitely saw that trailer.
Bald McCons and Christian Bale
Yeah,
and Gerard Butler.
but Pierce Brosnan, Bond, JP, you fucking
Big fan.
JP loves them.
you fucking are diehard.
It's really just Goldeneye, and I hold it in such a high regard that it makes up for every other one of those movies that he made. The second one's not bad. What is that?
Tomorrow Never Dies? No?
Is it Tomorrow Never Dies?
No, I think
The
so. I think
second
it
one?
was Tomorrow Never Dies, World Is Not Enough was after that, and then Die Another Day. Am I on base, I think?
Tomorrow Never Dies, World Not Enough, and Die Another Day. Yeah,
And
Yeah.
that's correct.
Goldeneye was the first one.
Yeah, Goldeneye is just too good, honestly.
I haven't watched it recently. I need to.
It probably holds up better now. I have no idea.
Think so?
No,
don't know.
I'm just saying that because
I don't think so.
because
I don't
blindly
think it
love
holds.
that movie.
Doug's
think
like,
it
I'm
confident. Doug's
I think it
confident that it's
100%
trash.
holds up. I'd say it's better now than when it came out.
I definitely
Ages like a fine wine.
I definitely saw bits and pieces
What?
of the beginning recently when he bungee jumps off the Hoover Dam or whatever.
Yeah, the
Is
Hoover
it the
Dam in
Hoover
Russia,
Dam?
of course.
Yeah, I don't know.
Of course, yeah.
Whatever.
You're thinking of Beavis and Butthead.
And I remember seeing it, and the special effects looked horrendous, but that's about all I remember.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
effects
you're
are really
definitely
bad
wrong.
on that
It's
scene.
definitely the greatest movie in the world.
I would love to watch Doug watch the Pierce Brosnan Bond movies and just be so disgusted by them.
You've never seen
With
them?
like,
No, I mean he probably has, but like I think. Well, I know me and Doug when we saw Casino Royale, we were like, "Oh, so this is a James Bond movie." Like now we're all in on this franchise.
yeah,
We all liked the
it's
Pierce.
true.
We all liked the Pierce. Like I mean, I'll speak for myself. I liked the Pierce Brosnan movies. Like I thought he was a great James Bond when I was a kid. But then when Daniel Craig came, I'm like, oh, nope, this is James Bond.
But it's supposed to have a fair amount of cheese to it. That's the point.
Hey, we got the
Yeah.
GoldenEye game. That's really all that matters.
Yeah, we'll have to do JP and I watching Pierce Brosnan movies together.
I mean, just Pierce Brosnan movies in general, because I'd be all about that as well.
Mrs.
You go-
Doubtfire.
Eurovision.
Eurovision, yes.
The Matador, The November Man,
Yeah, just run through just the classics.
Laws
Li-
of Attraction,
Live, Breathe Film watches Pierce Brosnan films.
The Tailor of Panama.
Yeah, but I think that basically covers the franchises. I mean, most of the ones we're not covering, it's because we like it, that you think we would cover, like Batman or Lethal Weapon, Die Hard. It's because we already covered it in the 80s.
Yeah.
So we're doing it when they started, not and like some other like Mission Impossible was a big one, but we talked about it in 1996. So if you're interested in any of those, go back, comment, let us if you want to know exactly when they were. But comedies, we'll run through. There's not too many. Comedies were fairly lackluster in the 90s, to be honest. I mean, we've already talked about Robin Williams ones like Mrs. Doubtfire. But the two big stars, really, of the 90s Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey. We talked about Billy Madison already. We did not talk Happy Gilmore, Wedding Singer, Waterboy, Big Daddy. That's that's his run. That's his best run
Cleaned up.
that he's ever had. Bulletproof was in the middle of there, but I'm not counting it. It was different. It was an R-rated, like it was trying to be like a 48 Hours Beverly Hills Cop type one, like a buddy comedy. That's its own thing. His PG-13 bread and butter movies, just that Billy Madison Big Daddy run over those 4 years, fucking phenomenal. Which is your favorite, each of you? We'll include Billy Madison for the sake of this as well.
Billy Madison, 100%.
Wedding Singer.
Probably Happy Gilmore.
And I will go Wedding Singer. But I mean, I would have a tough time with my number 2. I mean, I love Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy. I just know Waterboy would be last. If you asked me when I was a kid, it would be way higher, probably.
I never liked Waterboy.
Waterboy is probably number 2 for me.
Yeah,
I love that movie so much.
Happy Gilmore is probably 2, and then Billy Madison 3, Waterboy 4.
Happy Gilmore's just got such a good villain.
Oh yeah, Shooter.
Yes,
Shooter
McGavin, Christopher McDonald absolutely kills it.
I watched that movie so many times. Happy Gilmore, I definitely have seen more than any of his films. So many times when I was a kid. I just loved it.
Yeah, I'd say Billy Madison, Wedding Singer, I've seen the most. But Billy Madison, Bradley Whitford, incredible villain also.
He's pretty great.
And I don't know who the guy is that plays fucking Gulia in Wedding Singer, but he was a good bad guy as well.
It's not Don Johnson.
No, it is not. But other than Adam Sandler, even bigger than him was Jim Carrey in the 90s. We previously talked about his run in 1994, which was absolutely unprecedented with Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. But I mean, if you look at his post 1994 output, it's pretty fucking incredible as well. He had Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, one of the only sequels he's ever made. He did Batman Forever, which Corey's a big fan of it.
Love Batman
Forever. I'll give him credit though. He headlined the number 1 or 2 movie of 1995 with that. Cable Guy, which God bless him. What a weird movie to make when you're on the middle of the biggest box office run in history. To make the Cable Guy. Comedy. Dude, Ben Stiller, Judd Apatow, and Jim Carrey fucking nailed it out of the park with that weird ass movie.
Yeah.
Dude, I did not get it in the 90s when I was a kid. I was like, this is fucking weird and dark and
it's horrifying
disturbing.
In some spots.
Yeah, I definitely didn't like it when we were kids.
I
like it more now.
Really damn good. Liar Liar, which I mentioned briefly earlier, might have that was his biggest comedy of the 90s. Then you even got Truman Show and Man on the Moon when he went into more dramatic comedies. Just an incredible run. He kind of fell off fairly soon after that in regards to his like big massive hits. He had a few in the early 2000s, but nothing that was like that run in the 90s. Who would you guys say was more impactful on your taste in comedy in the 90s? Sandler or Carrey?
Jim Carrey.
At the time?
For me.
Sandler.
Yeah, at the time.
Sandler, 100%.
Probably Jim Carrey.
It was Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey for me as well. But post 2000, I would say Sandler, which is interesting. And I imagine a lot of you would probably say Sandler in the post 2000s as well, just because Jim Carrey really hasn't done too many comedies.
I definitely enjoyed Jim Carrey as I got older.
Okay.
But at that time, Sandler was infinitely more funny to me. Just because.
Any reason why?
Very lowbrow humor. Very lowbrow humor, and it worked because I was 10.
Yeah, like his comedies were all like PG-13, like aimed for like teenagers, adults, but like kid. They were also like had kid type of humor. So like we were, I don't know, 10 years old, not 10, 9, 11 years old, for a bunch of those Sandler movies, and we ate them up. Because of, I mean, Billy Madison, like, I can't imagine many 30-year-olds going to see Billy Madison. Like,
My fucking parents
then
hated Adam Sandler.
Yeah, like
fucking hated Adam
Sandler.
movies.
Yeah, Sandler did not get the respect that Jim Carrey got at that time at all. I mean, nowadays Sandler gets a ton of credit for mostly his dramatic work, but it's been interesting watching both their careers.
Yeah,
and they really both started in the 90s. Other than that, some comedies. We got two others. We have the double feature of David Spade and Chris Farley, which is essentially the exact same movie.
Same movie.
So good,
Tommy. We originally somebody put Tommy Boy on this list. I put / Black Sheep because those are the fucking exact same movies.
Yeah.
If anyone's seen both of them, then you know exactly what I'm saying.
I love those movies though. They're great.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Those two together are just, they work so well. And I don't think either one of them would have worked, I guess in movies outside of one another, because David Spade has not been good in movies since Chris Farley passed.
And Farley was such like a force of nature.
Yeah.
He's just like,
he just captured your attention 100%.
But you needed someone to balance him out because he could be too much at times.
Yeah, Spade was definitely like the straight man.
Yeah, if Farley was in a bunch of those Sandler movies, likely would have been in a hell of a lot more had he not passed. Have you ever noticed how Tommy Boy looks like it was shot so much like longer ago than Black Sheep? Like Tommy Boy looks like an old movie, but Black Sheep does not. If you go back and watch them, it's an interesting. I don't know if like cameras changed in 1 year, but Tommy Boy just looks older.
It's been a while.
Tommy Boy also gets a lot more credit. You don't really see many people talking about Black Sheep.
No, Tommy Boy.
I don't know.
Tommy Boy's a better movie, I think.
I think it probably had to do with the fact, like the characters in Tommy Boy, like the supporting characters, like Rob Lowe and Brian Dennehy and everything like that.
Yeah, Brian Dennehy was great.
Black Sheep is basically the two of them. Tim Matheson's in it, but it's really anytime Rob Lowe does a comedy, like I feel like a movie, it gets known, like Wayne's World. Like it's a big thing. And we did not talk about Wayne's World, but another big Mike Myers franchise from the 90s, which only Corey likes. Among our group.
I've talked about it. I talked about it like a couple months ago, but yes, I love Wayne's World.
And then lastly for comedies, which was a absolute smash, from the Farley brothers, There's Something About Mary. We've already talked about Dumb and Dumber. Kingpin was Kingpin, but There's Something About Mary, man. That was something special. We were, again, definitely too young to have seen that at the time, but it did have JP's quarterback in it. So I know he definitely
saw it. I got to see it.
He got to see it at a young age for that reason.
Yep.
It's just pretty fantastic. What a fun, like, gross out comedy.
Yeah, it's truly gross, and it's a lot of humor that I didn't get as a child when I was watching it the first time. But it's a movie that got better as I got older, which is fun because it's like growing into a movie. When it's funny when you're watching it as a kid, but then it gets even funnier as you're an adult and you start to get all of the
you start to really understand the theme of the movie. Like it's ultimately like a movie about stalkers. Like it's a dark comedy. But it's so light, like its setting and stuff, that it makes it a little bit different than like The Cable Guy. That the Farley brothers just did a dark movie different than the way Ben Stiller would direct it. And it's funny because Ben Stiller's in There's Something About Mary is one of the main stars.
Yeah. There was one other comedy, two other comedies that I don't think we touched on, and one of them I think would be big. In and Out.
just
That was a
which
good
was
one.
I actually
fantastic.
just watched that about a week ago.
Yeah, and we all loved that movie.
So
Yeah,
We
good.
watched that
and
movie so many times.
And it still
dude, In
holds
and
up.
Out is classic.
It still holds up even now.
Yeah.
It's still amazing.
And it was filmed in the town next to us. The finale of the movie.
Oh, really?
Was it
Filmed.
really? That's awesome.
It was filmed at Pumpkin Lakes High School.
Holy
Huh.
shit. I didn't know that.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Tom Selleck.
The big graduation scene.
Tom Selleck in
I
that
thi-
movie.
One girl.
amazing.
Well, I'll talk about who the girl was after this. But one girl was in the movie.
Oh, I remember
in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember hearing about that.
pretty neat.
Interesting.
The other one, it was Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh yeah, Mel Brooks.
Absolutely amazing Mel Brooks.
Oh,
movie.
you just reminded me of another one. Spy Hard.
Oh, hell yeah, Spy Hard.
Did we talk about that in 1996?
I don't think we
No.
did.
But yeah, parodies, Robin Hood Men in Tights, and then Leslie Nielsen movies.
Yeah.
Were great in the 90s.
So there really is a fair amount of comedies in the 90s. You also got My Cousin Vinny, which is a classic.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that was
Mhm.
1990?
2.
Oh wow, it was later than I
Right
thought.
at the beginning. So there's a fair amount of comedies, and like if you want to talk comedies, Demolition Man with Stallone. That's like the only funny movie Stallone's done in my mind.
Yeah,
Fucking great. Opposite of Wesley Snipes.
It's great.
I think we were just like lucky in the 2000s when we were like 18, like
Oh,
when
yeah.
we around the time we turned like 17, 18 is when they just started chugging out like those Judd Apatow like comedies that were just huge.
Yeah, and Adam McKay and
Yeah, the Adam McKay movies,
Yeah.
Todd Phillips, just all three of them.
yeah.
And
But there's
Farley
some
Brothers
good
were still
stuff
doing
in
their
the
thing
90s.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up both of those. That was funny too because Corey mentioned fairly like over the past week. He's like, "Yeah, watch In and Out." I'm like, "Oh man, that movie like holds up well."
Oh, it's great. The part where he's listening to the How to Be Manly soundtrack, so fucking
It's
good.
I'm trying to think what it's on currently because it showed up. They must have just added it to the search. I think it was Netflix. It's either Netflix or Amazon, one of the two. So if you want to watch it,
It's
there.
Hulu.
Okay. Hulu,
Oh
then.
yeah,
it's
All right.
Hulu.
I- so,
Frank Oz
it's
directed
there.
that. Fucking Yoda.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
All right, and then we'll just run through some other miscellaneous films real quick. Start off the decade with Goodfellas. So we got some Scorsese. He did Casino as well that decade, but Goodfellas just
More
a
impactful.
monster hit that everyone still talks about today. And will for the foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm.
In 1994, Doug spoke about The Shawshank Redemption and Usual Suspects, but two other massive films that year that were both nominated for Best Picture. One actually won them was Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction.
Mhm.
So Tom Hanks, when there's no bigger actor in the 90s than Tom Hanks. Forrest Gump was basically the movie that cemented it and kind of turned him from a comedic actor to a dramatic actor. But I think it holds up. I know a lot of people don't like it and like make fun of it, but I don't know why.
Forrest Gump?
Yeah, it gets shit on from like film Twitter
Really?
and like
Oh, really?
like pretentious like critics like do not like
I mean,
Forrest Gump.
I don't like Forrest Gump, but like I always felt like people acted like that was like I was a monster for saying that.
Yeah, no,
So that's why I'm like surprised that there's like a group that actually doesn't like
you'd
Forrest Gump.
You'd fit in with the large crowd on the internet.
Oh wow,
That's crazy. I didn't think there was hate for Forrest Gump out there.
Yeah. Either
It's
Yeah, I didn't
spawned
realize
one of
that
the
either.
greatest sequels ever, which is The Restaurant, Bubba Gump's, which is fantastic.
It is a good restaurant.
It's a
Yeah.
fantastic restaurant. I went to it in Hawaii
like
on
their
my
shrimp.
honeymoon. I went to the one in Hawaii on my honeymoon, and we had a beautiful
I know
view of the
I'm
ocean.
probably
It was great.
considered uncultured swine for enjoying it, but
Oh, it's fucking delicious.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
I would have
I don't
loved
think
to
I've
have
ever
seen.
eaten at a Bubba Gump's. Looks
man,
too like
yeah.
touristy. No,
Oh,
it's
very-
it's good.
It's touristy, but it's good.
delicious, and you get like
It's
the
not like
40
a Hard
drinks in
Rock
big cups.
Cafe type of
It's-
thing.
It
I mean,
kind of
it
has
is,
that vibe.
but
Yeah,
it-
it has
for
that
seafood.
vibe.
Alright.
I mean, Doug, it's not like a 5-star French dining restaurant that you go to when you're feeling classy. It's if you're in the mood for shrimp, go to Bubba Gump's.
Yeah, they got good shrimp.
But
Maybe next time I'm in like a touristy area and there's a Bubba Gump, I'll go in and have some shrimp.
It's one in
You
Times
get good
Square the
drinks
next
there,
time you're
too.
up here.
But the cool pick for 1994 was Pulp Fiction. That's the one that, in retrospect, everyone said should have won. That's the one that, at the time, a lot of people also said should have won. But the people who vote for the Academy Awards are very different from the people that were saying that. So Forrest Gump won. But yeah, Tarantino. If there's anyone who defined indie movies in the 90s, it was Quentin Tarantino. He had that initial burst with Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, and Jackie Brown, which was like his LA crime trilogy. All fantastic movies in their own right. But Pulp Fiction definitely the one that made the biggest impact. I mean, I remember when we were in elementary school and there was kids that like had seen Pulp Fiction and they were like telling me about it, and I'm just like, oh my god, this movie sounds insane. Wouldn't end up seeing it until, I don't know, middle school or high school. Have you, all three of you, seen? I know everyone's seen Reservoir Dogs, correct?
I saw it before Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I probably did too. Yeah.
I think I saw Pulp Fiction then Reservoir Dogs. Does everyone, or did everyone see Jackie Brown?
No.
Yeah. Jackie Brown's good. Underrated, but good.
That's like one of my favorites of his.
It's
honestly.
definitely it's an underrated one.
It's incredible.
Definitely doesn't it the fact that it followed Pulp Fiction, like it never had a chance. And it's a lot like more, I don't know.
It's kind of a
I'd say like
romance.
more low key than Pulp Fiction. Like it's not as showy. And the dialogue is probably, JP, I'd say you probably would say the dialogue is some of his better dialogue that actually sounds like human beings would speak it.
Yeah.
That's great.
But
yeah, Pam Grier
yeah.
and
Robert Forster.
Yeah, that, I mean, they were so good together. Like their chemistry. They killed it.
No, they were the best part of the movie. But then you
Michael
also
Keaton.
had you had Michael Keaton, you had Sam Jackson and Robert De Niro together. They were awesome together. De Niro's like the biggest like pothead criminal. He's ridiculous in it. That's one, JP, you got to check out eventually and report back to us.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it at some point if it's somewhere.
If you ever need to borrow the DVD, you can borrow it. Or
I
Blu-ray. Blu-ray. You got PS4.
I do somewhere.
But you got to watch Girl with Dragon Tattoo first.
Yeah.
And I'm leading with Girl with a Dragon Tattoo because we are talking about David Fincher next.
Hey!
Yay!
Your boy.
I love David Fincher.
Look at that segue.
Fuck yeah.
Worked beautiful.
Flawless.
Couldn't have been better. We got Seven and Fight Club.
Two great movies.
He had a couple other ones in the 90s, but those were his two defining ones. Very different, but both with Brad Pitt.
I still got to watch The Game.
That's good.
You got to watch The Game and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah, Game is very good.
The Game was his movie that he made in between Seven and Fight Club, for those that are unaware. What do you guys prefer between those two? I mean, they're both considered classics of the 90s and of all time.
Yeah, I'm a Seven guy myself.
Seven.
Fight Club,
okay, so am I.
Fight Club I like, but I never was absolutely in love with Fight Club. I like the performances, but the movie was a little too weird for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of a weird one.
I like
the ending and like I don't know, the ending doesn't really.
But that's also one that I haven't watched, recently. Probably, it's probably been at least 10 years since I've seen it, so I need to revisit it. Seven I'll watch usually once a year.
Yeah, Seven's really good. It's always on
Seven,
TV too.
Mm-hmm. And Seven was the beginning of him making serial killer stuff.
Yeah,
which he absolutely. We wouldn't have Zodiac. We wouldn't have Mindhunter. We wouldn't even probably have the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. So, dude's fucking good with serial killer movies and television shows, and that
said something.
I was gonna say he was never better with Seven, but he was better with Zodiac.
Zodiac is a masterpiece.
Yeah, that's definitely
it's a masterpiece.
But I mean, Seven has been ripped off, imitated, whatever word you want to use, ever since 1995.
Because that twist,
Yeah, man. I mean,
What's in the
Yeah.
box?
Yeah, I mean, how many times do you hear people say like, "What's in the box?"
What's in the
And-
box?
Dude, if people say it in just a casual way, talk
Yeah.
like I'm just what's in the box?
Yeah. Immediately.
I mean,
immediately.
Fight Club has an amazing twist as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the twist at the end of Fight Club is fantastic.
Did you guys see that coming, or did you?
No,
I
I had no
didn't.
fucking
Yeah.
idea.
No, I didn't see it coming.
Nope.
It was
I
what,
think it was
1996?
It was 99.
99.
I believe I
was
was
dumb.
I believe I was spoiled, so I like knew it was coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think now had I seen a movie like that with a twist, like I might have actually had a shot at seeing it coming. But yeah, I was dumb like JP, just like this makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. It's nice to not have that kind of stuff spoiled, and it's cool that it's the same guy the whole time, and they're working their way towards the entire end of the movie where they start blowing up the buildings. They've been making bombs this whole fucking time. It's cool. It's a neat movie because like Memento touches on it too. It's a movie where you don't actually get the whole story, and when you do finally get the whole story, you're like, holy shit! Like it puts into perspective what you've been watching this whole time, and it really makes you feel like you're watching a story with very spotty memory of it. And I think that's neat. Fight Club is definitely up there. It's very close to 7 for me.
Since we're talking twists, what about Sixth Sense? Were you guys? Did you see that coming?
No, I got spoiled.
No.
That got
I didn't
spoiled for
see
me
it.
also.
I didn't see it coming.
It did not get spoiled for me.
I-
I did not see it coming. I was
I'm
like,
like mad right now thinking that I get spoiled. I would have loved to have seen that not spoiled.
I never really cared for Sixth Sense. It never. I don't know.
Oh boy, that's bad opinion. That's bad take.
Maybe
I really like Sixth Sense, but like if you know the ending of it,
It's not
feel
worth
like it
watching.
kind of ruins the movie. Like
Dude,
I went into the movie and like I had no idea what was going on, so it was just like we got to the end and like everything gets revealed and it was just like I was just like holy shit, like
Dude,
they like
Sean-
show you how they like if you were paying close enough attention, like you would have realized what was going on. So yeah, it was just like a different experience for you, and
I mean,
you should go
the
back
fact-
and beat the shit out of whoever spoiled that movie for you.
it was a fucking girl. I'm not gonna beat the shit out of a girl.
then don't beat the
and,
shit out of her.
and she was younger than me.
Yeah, I take that back.
I gotta rewatch it. I don't remember the movie like leaving a huge impact on me, other than the twist.
I mean, the
No,
twist
that's fair.
left a huge impact on everyone. That twist was
Yeah, it
talked
was-
about more than any of these other two movies.
Twist was great.
7 and
but
Fight Club. It's
Yeah, it was the twist of the
it
90s.
was the twist. What a twist!
I mean, like we talked about Usual Suspects. It was similar in that regard, where
yeah.
the thing is, it's in front of you the entire time,
Yep.
and you just don't know it.
Yeah,
I will say the twist in Usual Suspects wasn't that great. When I watched it, I was like,
Really?
"This is not a good." It just seemed it was nowhere near the Sixth Sense in terms of a twist.
you
It
mean
was
that like the breadcrumbs aren't as like
it
well
seemed a
done?
little predictable, and then at the end, I was like, I really don't give a shit if this guy was Kaiser Sose the whole time because like I don't know, it wasn't as impactful as Bruce Willis being dead the whole time.
you just spoiled a 30-year-old movie.
Bruce Willis was dead at the end of Sixth Sense.
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of forced. I don't know if it like forced maybe, but it felt like M. Night Shyamalan was like, I gotta do movies with twists from now on, and
Yeah.
he never he never had as good of a twist as The Sixth Sense. That was kind of like
He was
peak.
known.
Because
was
that
his shtick.
that was the one he was probably working on for so long.
Yeah, that was his shtick
but-
for like so many years. After that,
It's like 15 years of working up to getting to make your first movie, and then you're like, I have nothing else after.
although
this.
Split was good. That was almost as good as his twist with The Sixth Sense.
I didn't think it was that good.
Really? No one knew.
Yeah.
No one.
The
that was
twist?
the twist.
That it was just all him the whole time.
That the movie was in the
Oh.
same universe as whatchamacallit.
Oh, I didn't think that was a good twist at all.
That wasn't really a twist.
It wasn't.
mean?
I thought it was shitty.
Okay.
That wasn't really a twist.
That it was a
I'm-
pseudo sequel to Unbreakable.
I felt like that was tacked on.
Okay.
Signs was a good movie though.
Nah.
That movie was
Signs,
terrible.
Signs was awesome.
Garbage. I didn't like
And
it.
I
Signs
don't really
was
think,
good.
I don't
Ah,
think
really.
I don't think Signs really had a twist.
It had the
Just
aliens.
that like water was the aliens. Yeah, it wasn't really
that
a
was
twist.
so stupid though.
I
would-
remember Scary
what about-
Movie ruined that movie for me because the aliens
They just
God.
walked across the thing. It was the two dogs humping in the front, and then the alien just walks.
But yeah, I
past and
mean,
they do
we're
the
still
thing.
watching M. Night Shyamalan movies in 2020. I mean, I think it probably, for the most part, it has to do with the fact that, like, he nailed The Sixth Sense, and
Yeah, you guys are watching to see
he
if
has, like-
he comes back to
he
make
has
another
like,
good
yeah,
movie.
he's got like unlimited fucking like second chances because of The Sixth Sense.
Glass
It's pretty
was good.
wild.
Glass was solid. I liked it.
Yeah, no, Glass had some good stuff as well.
I do have one other honorable or one other movie like I mentioned. Heat is another one from I think came out in
yeah,
'95.
we did mention Michael Mann and Heat before. Yep, Heat was a very solid action thriller, inspiration for what feels like the inspiration for The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
A very long
The
one
whole
too.
front, the whole
Heat is
first
like
scene.
3 hours.
Yeah, no, Michael Mann had killer 90s. Last of the Mohicans, Insider, and I think those were his three in the 90s. A lot of Michael Mann talk today. We talked about Manhunter also.
The Insider, I thought of fucking Inside Job for a second. Bank robbery?
Last of the Mohicans. It's a great movie.
And then I skipped to get to the Sixth Sense twist, since we were talking about twists. One of the other major auteurs of the 90s, Paul Thomas Anderson. Boogie Nights, I didn't mention in 1997, but it's easily one of my favorite movies of all time.
Movie.
Yeah, Magnolia as well in '99, which we've talked about being like the most stacked year ever.
Magnolia, I've never seen.
Is that Tom
Watch it.
Cruise?
Yeah.
Yes,
I know.
I watched the
I
other
don't think I've
Tom
seen that
Cruise.
either.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
it's on one of the streaming platforms. I think it's Showtime. Showtime Anytime or Showtime. If you have cable, you definitely have it for free. I would definitely recommend watching it. It's weird, but the cast is beyond incredible. Philip Seymour Hoffman, John C. Reilly, Tom Cruise, Julianne Moore,
A Flower.
William H. Macy, I believe. Yeah, Flower, Frogs, tons of people. And then lastly, we've got the movie that essentially kicked off the 2000s with viral marketing and the way that promotion of movies would go in the 2000s. It was in the summer of 1999. Kicked off, I believe, at Sundance, the Blair Witch Project. We've mentioned it previously. While it's not the greatest film in the world, really doesn't have any sort of twist or anything like that. The fact that everyone fell for it being like a true story because people did not know what viral marketing was at the time is just a story that deserves to be talked about.
Yeah.
In marketing,
Whoever marketed this
movie marketing for the rest of the time.
Yeah, whoever marketed this movie should never have to work again. They should be independently wealthy for the rest of their lives because they did such a good job.
They turned a movie that was made with under $1 million into one of the biggest movies in the summer of 1999, which again had a ton of big movies. It had Austin Powers 2, Phantom Menace, Big Daddy, just a lot of shit. So kudos to them.
It had just as much buzz as the Star Wars movie that was the first Star Wars movie in 15 years.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, came out the same year as The Matrix. Like so many things.
Crazy.
I remember
it was kind of a trash movie.
Matrix previously.
Oh, it's terrible, and they don't even show the spooky witch at the end. It's so stupid.
Sequel's even worse.
Yeah, the sequel's bad. Book of the Dead or something. I think that's what it was called.
Book of Shadows, which they tried to make like a real movie, and then they did a reboot like 5-6 years ago, which was in a more similar style to the first one.
I heard it's not
but
good.
it was bad.
Yeah.
I have one more to tack on.
Yeah, fucking do it.
Some of you probably haven't seen this, but Frighteners by Peter Jackson.
I did see it.
Fucking outstanding movie.
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of me for a long time. It's got Michael J. Fox. It's got Jake Busey in it. And it's just such a well done movie.
The third act is pretty scary.
Yeah, with the
Especially
in the
like for a
hospital.
kid. Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth it. It's got that campy, weird horror to it. And it's just so strange that it's a Peter Jackson movie, and he went on to go do the Lord of the Rings very shortly after doing it.
He was a horror guy. Beginning of his career. He was similar to Sam Raimi in that regard. And then they both went on to making massive blockbusters.
Yeah, it's a wonderful movie. Definitely worth a watch.
Good shit. Anyone else have anything that they want to call out?
Did we ever talk Braveheart?
I believe you intended to, but you didn't.
Oh, did he?
I mean, Braveheart was.
You? I also saw that just went back to my list. You used The Usual Suspects in 1994, but it's a 1995 movie. I knew there was a reason why I didn't want you to talk about it when we did 1994, and that was the reason.
Oh, we're gonna cancel Doug.
Yeah, it didn't have to do with like Kevin Spacey or anything, or the fact that I think it's kind of overrated. It was the fact that you had the wrong year for it.
God damn.
Oh well.
What do you have to say? I mean, this is where you get to apologize. You close the 90s out after this.
You are now on trial, Doug.
Yeah.
Merck's
just been like holding on to this.
It's my fault. I should have caught it. I'm embarrassed.
Just you wait. I'm gonna do it again in 2000s.
Don't you dare.
He caught me. I tried to sneak in Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights to the 90s.
I want to proof your shit moving forward. I'm going back to 1995 to see if you talked about Braveheart. I don't think you did.
I don't think you did.
I don't think I ever talked about Braveheart.
No, you talked about Jumanji. You wanted to talk about Braveheart.
I did want to talk about Braveheart. Braveheart's a good fucking movie.
Right.
It is.
It's just such an inspiring. I don't know. Like one of my favorite war movies is in that, or war speeches is in that movie when William Wallace is trying to like rile up the troops and they all want to go like home and like because they don't want to die because chances are they're gonna die if they fight what was it, the English?
Yep.
And so he gives that speech where he's like, yeah, you know, like you can run home, but and if you fight and you'll probably live, and you could fight here and you could die. He's just like, but like you're gonna grow old at some point and you're eventually gonna die anyway, and you're gonna wish like how many of these years would you have given up from now until the time where you're gonna die for just like one opportunity to be back here and tell England to basically fucking pound sand. It's such a fucking good speech.
Is this the first movie he directed?
I think he may have done one before that, like a smaller drama.
Yeah, it's a pretty damn good like first or second attempt at directing.
He's a good director.
It's a fantastic movie.
It's just it's just such a good war movie. Kind of Gladiator kind of feels like a kind of like copied Braveheart.
Yeah, he did one movie before Braveheart. It was just in 1993, The Man Without a Face. It was
I remember that movie.
Yeah, but nothing. Then he just fucking stepped it up, like went big budget with Braveheart.
Is Macaulay Culkin in that?
Kind of never looked back. I mean, he did war movies with Hacksaw Ridge, Apocalypto, Passion of the Christ. Not a war movie, but big budget. I'm sorry, Corey. What was your question?
Macaulay Culkin. Isn't he in The Man Without a Face? I feel like he is.
No, that's the Man in the Iron Mask.
No, that's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, no, Man Without a Face. I think.
No, Nick Stahl.
He was super young.
Wow.
Because Home Alone came out in like the mid 90s.
Yeah, Home Alone was 92. I do think he did a movie. Mel Gibson did a movie with. I'm looking at Mel Gibson's Wikipedia picture.
Dude, it says he was in. Oh,
it's frightening.
He's a crazy man. It says he was in Casper. Mel Gibson.
Do you have a quick cameo?
That's gonna bother me.
Was he a voice of one of the ghosts? Maybe.
It says it was just a cameo.
Oh.
Corey, I think you're thinking of Elijah Wood with Mel Gibson in a movie in the early 90s.
Maybe.
because they did a movie together.
I actually have one. I have one more to add to the '90s, and I know Murph at least knows
Clearly,
this movie.
we fucking love the '90s.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah,
said at the
it's-
start of this, we're '90s kids. Just wait till we get to the 2000s when we saw
yeah, it's gonna be
movies
a
like every
fucking
single week.
Yeah.
Two-parter.
probably.
So Murph
Let's
has seen
hear it.
this. Airborne.
I kind of thought you were gonna say that.
Airborne. I forgot about it. It's with I'm trying to remember who's in it. Jesus Christ.
Seth Green.
Jack Black's definitely in it, if I remember.
Seth Green
correctly.
has a supporting role in it. I think he's like
Yeah.
the best friend.
That
Oh.
is
Yeah, Jack Black's in it.
I got one more.
that might be one of the most '90s movies I think I've ever seen, other than
No,
Never
I'm
even
I'm
heard
I'm
of
one
this
upping
stuff.
you on '90s
Empire
movies.
Records.
No, Trojan War
Oh, fucking Trojan War.
with Will
Yes.
Friedle from Boy Meets World and Jennifer Love Hewitt. His search for a Trojan condom,
Yep, props.
so he
for
could
that
lose his
one.
virginity.
How did we
that
find out
movie-
about that movie? Because
I don't think
we,
I've seen this movie.
we stumbled.
Oh man, you gotta watch it.
It's
It's a funny '90s movie.
Because you stumbled upon it like way after we saw American Pie.
No, you showed
Was
me
it me?
it. We'll
Yeah, I
talk
think it
about
was
where
just at
we
your house or something.
we'll
like
talk
that.
about where we watched it afterwards. But yeah, you introduced me to it. I think you had seen it already on like HBO
Maybe
because I think it probably aired a lot on HBO. It seems like the type of movie that would.
because it was definitely
What's
after those
what is this movie about? Because I've never even heard of this movie.
It's
All right,
great.
so Eric from Boy Meets World, he gets the opportunity to sleep with the girl of his dreams, and he has to get condoms because they're at her house and she doesn't have them, and then it's like a crazy night out of him trying to get a hold of Trojan condoms. Jennifer Love Hewitt's his best friend. Just a wacky hijink, like crazy night out type movie.
It's fun.
I don't know how
And like the whole goal is to get like condoms, which is something that he should easily be able to obtain at the local store.
You would
Yeah,
think.
I think he's underage, so for some reason he can't buy them or something.
There's like an age limit on condoms.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think there's an age limit. He feels like super awkward.
I'm so confused.
He feels like
I know he's
super
at
a-
awkward trying to buy them. Something happens when he's trying to buy them, causes him not to be able to buy them, and he has to go somewhere else. Like, it's ridiculous.
And Trojan like
It's
paid for this
Oh,
movie?
they definitely paid for like the entire movie with the type
100%.
of promotion it got.
Oh my god, yes.
but it's actually good because it sounds ridiculous. It sounds
I
absurd.
mean,
Yeah,
I found it hilarious, and I watched it probably 5 years after I originally saw it, and still thought it was hilarious. So I probably would still enjoy it now, but it might be nostalgia. But I'm 100% confident I would still enjoy it.
It's like a super bad. It's not as good as super bad, but it's in that same.
No, it is not as good as Superbad. Don't get Doug like that idea into Doug's head.
No, but
Anywhere
it's
like Superbad.
It's that type of movie where it's just like a night out, teens and their night out, like just all this crazy shit just starts to happen.
I would compare it to like a Harold and Kumar.
Okay,
That
yeah.
type of humor. And trying to get something in a time frame.
Man, Trojan Wars. God.
But yeah, I don't know.
Are we missing any other '90s anything?
We definitely are. But I
We
mean,
definitely are. Yeah, but like
our listeners are gonna have to tell us what we're missing.
Empire Records again, because that movie's amazing.
We talked about it. We don't need to
I
talk
know.
about it
I'm
again.
just talking
Did I
about
mention
it
Half
again.
Baked before?
We didn't talk about Dazed and Confused. Dazed and Confused.
oh yeah, that's a huge
one of the best teen comedies of the decade.
for sure.
Influential for so many different people's careers. We have Matthew McConaughey, everything he's done, Ben Affleck, all thanks to Dazed and Confused.
Did I say Half Baked before when I was talking about comedy?
You did not. You did not
that's-
put
that's a good
that.
one, too. Early Chappelle.
Nutty Professor. That was a massive comedy in the 90s.
Yeah.
Actually a franchise.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But I mean, Chappelle was in that, and man, he got his ass kicked.
He was a Nutty Professor.
But he loved.
I felt so
Yeah,
bad
he's the
for
same
Randy.
comedian that makes fun of Sherman for for like brutally bad. Like
man,
I was
I forgot about
man, that was
Is
sad.
that Chappelle?
Yeah, Chappelle.
Jesus, I forgot about
Yeah, it
that.
is.
That is a young Dave Chappelle.
He's got his shit locks.
That was
I
in
guess I
between.
didn't know who. I must not have known who he was at the time because I was just.
Yeah, it was in between Robin Hood Men in Tights and Half Baked.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that was really it for Eddie Murphy in the 90s. Yeah, Doctor Dolittle, which was also a franchise. Funny, nothing special. Yeah, I don't know. But there's definitely more. So you guys tell us what we missed. We can do a bonus segment on things we missed. We'll be happy to. And yeah, otherwise we'll move on to Y2K, the Millennium.
Yeah. It really was, though.
It was. But yeah,
2010s.
When the world was going to end at the end of
2000s.
1999. Y2K.
dude, I was going through old shit the other day in like a backpack, and I found like my calendar from 1999, and I like was flipping through it to like see everything in it. A lot of the movies that we talked about were in this calendar, their release
Wow.
dates, and because I was obsessed with movies back then too. And when you go to December 31st, right next to that, I have Y2K listed out.
You're like, world ends.
Could be the end.
World
Turn off the
over.
Turn off the computer, idiot.
Yikes.
Keep the computers off. Gonna lose it.
Yeah, but it's gonna be fun talking about all the movies post 2000. Because like we said, we saw a shit ton of them. Yeah, that's all we got for today.
Should we discuss how we're gonna be doing that from now on? Because
Yep, it's coming right up.
cool.
But yeah, thank you for listening. And if you watched it on Twitch for the first time, special thank you to you. I guess you saw our social media posts. But for those who are unaware, we did create a Twitch account. So follow us. It's what is it? /LiveBreatheFilm.
Yeah, twitch.tv/LiveBreatheFilm.
Beautiful.
We're gonna be looking to do. If we end early, we're more than welcome to do questions and answers and stuff on there as well.
Perfect. Yeah, and we'll be we record around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday. If we're not going to, we'll let you guys know on social, and we'll put up reminders to make sure you get to hear the when we fuck up and everything like that. The stuff we edit out of the show, you'll actually get to see that, and I don't know. It's some of our funniest stuff.
Oh, for sure.
But,
Yeah. I mean, give us a follow on there if you can.
Yes.
And it'll give you a notification when we go live. We have our schedule up there as well for when we'll be recording. It'll be up to date.
But other than that, JP alluded to this. So next week, when we begin our yearly film series with the year 2000, it is going to become a bonus segment exclusively on YouTube. So please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have listened to our yearly film series, it's where each of us covers a film from the year that we're going through. We go through literally next week we'll do 2000, then 2001, 2002, et cetera, et cetera. We go through a film that was really memorable to us at the time or still. Doesn't have to be a great movie. Could just be a guilty pleasure. So just something we enjoy.
Yeah, they're typically not great.
They're exactly. They're movies like Trojan War. But yeah, it's not going to be, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, whatever, you're not going to be able to hear it. And if you watch it on YouTube, the full episode, it's not going to be on there either. We will be posting it as its own bonus segment, I believe, on Thursdays or Fridays. We'll figure that out exactly next week and let you guys know. But if you subscribe there, you'll get notifications anytime something goes up. We also, for those unaware, if the full episode is too much to handle at one time, we do put up our feature presentations as its own segment now, the week after we film them. So you have the opportunity to listen to it as a standalone segment as well. But yeah, please subscribe to YouTube and any of those other channels that we mentioned. And on social, please let us know anything you want us to talk about, anything we do not cover that you think we should, or just things that you want us to cover, because we're all about getting your feedback and giving you what you want to hear. because the whole point of this is for you to enjoy listening to it, not just for us to do our usual bullshit chatting that we already were going to do. But anything else, guys, that I did not get to?
It does it for me.
Yeah.
90s being put
Yeah, I
to
think you
rest.
covered it.
Close the book on the
All right, then.
90s.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All
90s
right,
are
then.
over.
90s are over. They're coming back in their own way. 90s nostalgia will be here soon enough. We've had our 80s nostalgia. 90s will be here any day.
Mm-hmm.
But as always, this has been Corey, Doug, JP, and Murph at Live Breathe Film. We'll be back next week, and we hope you are too. Thanks a lot.